boss positions over others are often the last refuge of insecure people. They're like little Napoleons, bossing everyone around, flaunting their status power. They don't have great personal ability, but they do have authority and they like to use it. They've worked out that fear is a great tool to keep others in line and keep themselves in control of the work situation. This is a flawed model, and the opportunity costs of having these people in charge are huge. Motivation, engagement, innovation plummet under these types of leaders. Surely we can do better than that in the 21st century. Welcome back to this weekly edition, every Tuesday of the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show. I'm your host, Dr. Greg Story, President of Dale Carnegie Training Japan and best-selling author of Japan Sales Mastery. We are bringing the show to you from our High Performance Center here in Akasaka, in Minato-ku, the business center of Tokyo. Why the cutting edge? In this show, we are looking at the critical areas for success in business in Japan. We want to help advance everyone's thinking so that we can be at the forefront, the cutting edge of how we flourish here in this market. Before we get into this week's topic, here is what caught my attention lately. 84% of Japanese hold positive views about receiving nursing care from robots, according to a survey by Oryx Living. Most respondents see robots as serving to alleviate burdens on care receivers and caregivers. The survey found 84% of men want to care for their wives, and only 66% of women said they want to care for their husbands. In other news, the rise of the single or hitori-sama phenomenon has led to some changes in retail businesses in Japan. In 1980 in Japan, only 1 in 50 men had never married by the age of 50, and only 1 in 22 for women. That ratio now is 1 in 4 for men and 1 in 7 for women. With more than 30% of households containing just one person, this makes for an attractive solo market. Many are craving more me time in this fast-paced, interconnected and workaholic society. Surveys show Japanese consumers rate quality time above hours spent with family and friends. In this social media-infested, interconnected, totally always-on world, some people feel fatigued and want relief from contact from others. Karaoke chains realized around about 6 years ago that there were customers who came by themselves. So they created one kara, that is a tiny booth for solo singers. Some cinemas now offer seats with partitions, and theme parks let singles jump the line at a certain point in certain rides. Grocery stores sell single items aimed at single diners, and travel agents are catering to solo travelers. Finally, there have been some innovative developments in Japanese agriculture. Spread Company has opened up its second vertical farm producing leafy vegetables. It is getting closer to having such low production costs that it can compete with traditional farms which have a much larger scale. In Kaihana Science City, it has launched Technofarm, the second facility, and they will grow 30,000 heads of lettuce a day on racks under custom-designed lights using light-emitting diodes. A sealed room protects the vegetables from pest, disease, and dirt. Temperature and humidity are optimized to speed growth of the greens, which are fed, tended, and harvested by robots. Spread President Shinji Inada said, "Our system can produce a stable amount of vegetables of a good quality for sale at a fixed price throughout the year without using pesticides and with no influence from weather." Spread sells lettuce about 20 to 30% above normal lettuce prices, but consumers see these pesticide-free products as an alternative to more expensive organic foods. Climate change is making the weather more unpredictable, and this makes Technofarm's consistent availability attractive. Inada plans to export his farming system to 100 countries worldwide. We are targeting countries where fresh vegetables cannot be produced because of scarce water, extremely low temperatures, or other natural conditions. This is episode number 69, and we are talking about nice or nasty bosses. Soridewa ikimashou. So let's get going. The New York Times carried an article about the growth of rudeness and bad behaviour at work over the last 20 years. Christine Porath, the article author, noted, how we treat one another at work matters. Insensitive interactions have a way of whittling away at people's health, performance and soul. These interactions release hormones called glucocorticoids, leading to potential health problems. The more interesting part of the research on this topic looked at why we are uncivil, and more than half said they felt overloaded with their work, and 40% said they have no time to be nice. Nearly half linked career progression to using their position power, and being nice was seen as weak. Bosses' attitudes were enlightening. 25% believe they will be less leader-like if they are nice at work. Nearly 40% feared they would be taken advantage of if they weren't projecting a tough manner. There seems to be no shortage of bosses who can only muster position power, know it, and so exploit it to the full because they are so insecure. Strip away their titles and they are total nobodies. The way people become the boss is part of the issue. The individual who can succeed and be accountable in their own little world is promoted to be in charge of others who are nothing like them. They find that the skills that got them selected as leader is not what they need to be as a real leader. The fallback strategy is using their position power and lord it over their underlings, driving them forward through fear. Ironically, the Centre for Creative Leadership found the #1 characteristic associated with senior executives' failure was their insensitive, abrasive or bullying style. So we are left with a bunch of wannabe Napoleons bossing us around and going nowhere in their careers. What are we looking for in business? We want our people to come up with great ideas, innovations and creative solutions. Some mini-me Napoleon type is not going to command anything more than compliance. And so the innovation capacity of the organisation is hamstrung. In this fast-paced competitive world of doing more fast with less, this is a big opportunity cost. From our own research on what engages employees to make the discretionary effort to go above and beyond, we found that feeling valued was the critical trigger. If the mentality is to beat people up and to let them know who is the boss, then the I feel valued trigger never gets pulled. The ideas do not flow, the cooperation doesn't happen, and the information is not passed on when you need it. Find out more when we come back from the break. If you want to be successful as a leader, do the Leadership Training for Managers course. All companies need people who can both manage and lead. Leading people screams out for real skills in communication, dealing with all different types of people, being excellent at innovation, planning, delegation, handling mistakes, doing performance reviews really well, and inspiring and motivating the team. Do the Leadership Training for Managers course now in either Japanese or English. The bestseller, Japan Sales Mastery, is the new Bible of selling in Japan. To sell to Japanese buyers, You need to create long-term partner-level trust, fully understand Japanese buyers' real needs, convince buyers with your solutions, overcome their hesitation, fear and doubt, know how to ask for the order, ensure repeat orders. This book is the product of 30 plus years in the trenches, selling in Japan. Order Japan Sales Mastery now. Welcome back. We want leverage, a next generation of leaders to be developed who can move the organization forward. Youthful tolerance for bad boss behavior is very low, and they simply vote with their feet and go across to the competition. Bosses need to become better time managers so they are in a better control of their emotions. When you are disorganized, you become stressed and you spread your stress around to all of those around you. Bosses need to be trained in how to smile when they interact with their staff. Sounds simplistic, but there's a whole raft of things going on in the background for that to happen, and they are all good. We want the bosses to be much better in communication, explaining the why and not just the what or the how. By the way, rather than pontificating, we want to use the Socratic method of asking questions which lead the staff member to their own discoveries of the why. This is how we get ownership of the ideas and the commitment to follow through with them. We want them to praise people in a smart way. Bosses need to praise people. Tell the staff member what they specifically did well, link it to the bigger picture, and reinforce that they should keep doing it and thank them. We want coaching that is not critique-based around past mistakes, but forward-looking. What they did was good, how they could do it even better the next time, and how that will positively impact the business. Building a positive, supportive workplace must be the boss's focus if the organization wants to succeed. People are how they do it. We start with attitudinal change, leading to behavior change, producing performance change. As mentioned, we know from our research that staff engagement requires 3 conditions and a trigger. The 3 conditions are the current relationship with the boss, that's an obvious one. The other 2 are the belief by staff that the direction senior management are taking the company is the right one. This implies they actually know what the direction is. And lastly, feeling of pride in the organization. This also sounds obvious, but the survey results refer to the organization, not just insular pride in their siloed division within the organization. Getting internal cooperation across silos, always challenging in big organizations. The engagement trigger is the feeling that the boss cares about the staff and they feel valued. They know they are valued because the boss tells them so directly. Engagement matters. Innovation is only interesting to staff who care about the company. If you are not engaged, you don't care if the operation is running more effectively or about finding new ways of doing things. These staff haven't signed on for the old way of doing things yet. Innovation is going to be the differentiator. So the key step before that is getting people to feel high levels of engagement. The boss role here is critical. And are the bosses in your organization ready for this crucial role they must play? The Cutting Edge Japan Business Show is here to help you succeed in Japan. Subscribe on YouTube, share it with your family, friends, and colleagues. Become a regular. Thank you for watching this episode, and remember to hit the subscribe button. Our website details are on screen now. enjapan.dale.carnegie.com. It's awesome value, so check it out. In episode 70, we are talking about get your presentation rhythm going. find out more about that next week. So, yoroshiku onegai itashimasu. Please join me for the next episode of the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show. We are here to help you. And we've only got one direction in mind for you and your business, and that is up.